Often, when a music artist lands a high-profile gig, he or she will make sure there's something new for fans to discover at the store or on streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. So where you at, Faith Hill? Hey, it's Billy Dukes, and that's just one of the questions we'll explore during this video examination of Hill's starring role as Margaret Dutton on the Yellowstone prequel 1883. It's not the question, however. Since news of Hill and Tim McGraw as stars of the show broke in August 2021, fans have wondered one thing, even if they didn't realize it. But this is country music, and we're polite folk, so no one has outwardly asked until now. Okay, fine. If you just cannot wait for the payoff to this tempting tease, find the description section of this video for the chapter marks, and skip ahead. I understand. I just ask that you also subscribe if you haven't done so already, and tap that thumbs up button to show you're excited for this real-life married couple to turn back time and become a late 19th century married couple. No spoilers in this video. 1883 begins on December 19th on Paramount Plus, and we'll have a full analysis and recap of each new episode on the Dutton Rules podcast. Links to that can be found in the description section as well. Alright, question 1. Is Faith Hill ready for all this cowboy business? It's fair if you fell in love with the pop-friendly version of Faith and songs like Breathe and Just Kiss. Let's be honest, that music video doesn't scream rustic. Her acting resume is pretty short, with a few scenes in the hoity-toity Stepford Wives remake as her best-known work. Funny, not cowgirl. Here is some evidence that Faith is up to the task, however.
Look at that.
Woo! Woo! Did you get that? Oh my gosh!
Okay, that's about all we got. But it's worth noting that everyone on the show Yellowstone had to go to a cowboy boot camp, so they looked legit, so it's likely that Taylor Sheridan put her through the ringer as well. She's certainly speaking the part. Here is how Hill described her 25th wedding anniversary to Tim McGraw. Per People, quote, "I was hauling ass in a carriage through a river." Alright, I'm willing to believe. Hey, if you have a question about this show, drop it in the comments section below. I'd love to know how you think they're doing once the show begins as well. Question 2 is if Tim and Faith can carry a show like this, and that's fair because neither have a world-class resume. Of course, Tim starred in The Blind Side,
Their leader. Their coach.
Friday Night Lights, and once upon a time a cowboy movie called Flicka. He was good, but holding up a 10-episode arc is different. He also has to be someone much different from himself, meaning he needs to be violent and defensive and often hateful. You know, like a Dutton. If history holds true, we're going to end up hating Tim McGraw's character at times during Season 1. Can he embrace that? As I mentioned, Hill hasn't done too much, and thus far she's been pretty buried in the trailers and previews for 1883. It's possible that early on her character may not get the screen time that Tim's gets. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if their on-screen daughter Elsa, played by Isabel May, is a more prominent figure. She's the narrator of the show and has been all over the trailers. Sam Elliott is listed first in all the cast listings, so he may be the true star of this show, but it's a really great cast. So if Hill does need a little time to warm up to the part, it shouldn't be painful to watch. That's a big if. My skepticism is born out of not seeing her act, not a belief that she can't. He might be biased, but Tim is astonished by his wife's acting. Talking to Parade, he recalled a scene where they were face to face, staring into each other's eyes. Quote, "And I walked away going, damn, my wife is good." We know she can sing, so question 3 is kind of corny. Will she and Tim sing on screen? The answer? Probably, in some really natural way. There's not going to be a song and dance number, but Yellowstone has found ways to work singer Ryan Bingham's music into the show organically, like this.
These two hands in a rage of men. Think I just killed a man.
On 1883, it's a long road from Texas to Montana. It'd be totally natural for a couple to carry a tune as they lead the wagons northwest. This all leads up to question 4, will Faith have new music with the show? And I focus on Faith because Tim actually does have a single on the radio called 7500 OBO, and he released an album in the last 2 years. For Hill, it's nearing 17 years since her last studio album Fireflies, and a decade since her last solo radio single. The bad news is, if she was going to drop new music to coincide with the show's premiere or the first few episodes, she'd have done it by now. Nashville and Music Row sort of shut down by mid-December as radio stations drop new music for holiday songs. It'll take till mid-January for that promotional machine to crank back up, by which time Hill, who's still signed to Warner Music Nashville, is going to be 4 or 5 episodes into 1883. A song to coincide with the finale seems possible, and I'm going to double down on this idea that the next thing we hear from her might be a little more Americana and a little less pop country. Think Civil Wars. With filming finished, she'll have time to record that music. I'm going to warn you though, if there's no new music coming from her in the next 2 months, it might be another 10 years. She's a pro, and she knows that you strike while the iron is hot, and the iron is very, very hot. Question 5 is the final question, and let me see how I can delicately put this. Are Tim and Faith going to get naked? The answer is yes and no. First, here's why it's worth asking. There are about 2 women on Yellowstone who haven't either been pantless at some point or were thrust into a love scene somehow. That's the Markwood Equities women, Willa and Carol. Everyone else, and I mean everyone, Beth, Avery, Teeter, Laramie, Mia, the Governor, Laramie again, Summer, Laramie. The sexuality on that show is mildly rampant, and all indications are that 1883 takes what's provocative there and turns up the dial. The trailer looks intense and includes this short but spicy bathtub moment between Tim and Faith. Some married couple time at the end of a long week would totally fit the script, and when and if this happens, you can expect country outlets like Taste of Country to cover it like it's the Super Bowl. So, we know it happens, literally, there they are naked in each other's arms, but, quote, it was uncomfortable for me personally because I'm a very shy person in that type of situation, Hill tells People. I obviously feel comfortable with my husband, but this is different. For intimate scenes, I feel like that belongs to us. Totally reasonable view for 2 50-year-olds married 25 years to take, but she did say intimate scenes. One final request for you to join a larger conversation about 1883 in Yellowstone by listening to the Dutton Rules podcast, new episodes weekly, and links in the description section. I'm Billy Deuce for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.